Ladies and gentlemen, Geri Petito.
I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. And in time, this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Geri Petito taught the class. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Loves the answer, the greener grass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. One day at a time, free at last.
When you don't know just what to do.
Just what to do, just what to do.
If what you're feeling is really true.
Is it really true? Is it really true?
Just keep your ideas safe and sound.
Safe and sound, safe and sound.
That's exactly how change is found.
Change is found, change is found. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. And in time, this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Geri Petito taught the class. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Loves the answer, the greener grass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. One day at a time, free at last.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Geri Petito Show. Guys, everyone and anyone who knows me knows I am the author of I'm Not an Addict, I'm Just an Ass. I'd rather be a smartass than a dumbass, guys, because 32 years ago, I was a dumbass. But today, 32 years later, through the grace of God, I can honestly say now I'm a smartass. Yes, the word ass is in the Bible at least 40 times, and it means donkey, and that's what I was. I'm saying all that to say this, guys. You know, we've all had the roughest few years of our lives, right? I'm a nutritional health coach. I'm a recovery coach. All my services to you are free. Please, please reach out. I don't want anyone ever feeling like they're alone or they have no one to talk to. If you think my book can help someone, because I do, you can go to Simon & Schuster's bookstore, Archway Publishing. It's on BAM, it's on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, it's everywhere. Go to my website, www.gerrypetito.com. You can also subscribe to the Geri Petito Show YouTube channel. Please do. A lot of cool things are happening. You'll see a lot of my great shows. And guys, if you truly, truly, truly cannot afford my book, please, please reach out to me about that as well. So guys, I'm doing something a little different today. I have a guest co-host with me. I have some bronchial issues I'm dealing with. So at some point, you might see me walking away from the screen, and that's why. So I have this incredible, beautiful lady here, as Ava would put it, a sister from another mister, okay? So everyone, let me introduce my guest co-host first, Ava Holly. Say hello.
Hi, everyone. How's everyone today? How are you, Geri Petito? Good to see you. And our honored guest today, always.
So I want to introduce our star guest, guys. Yes, because everyone who knows me knows I'm a huge Elvis fan, right? I mean, come on. You know, music is a must for you to keep your joy, especially if it's Elvis, baby, because Elvis is my boy, okay? And yes, that poem's in my book. All right, so now...
Geri, we're both huge Elvis fans, so it's good you have me today, right?
This is insane, right? Okay, you know,
right.
We are huge Elvis fans. There are a lot of Elvis fans out there, but we are huge ones. Okay, so I would like to introduce this incredible entertainer, okay? Steve Greer, say hello to the world.
Hello, world. Hello, Geri. Hello, Ava. Nice to meet everybody.
Ava, what do you think about this guy's accent, first of all? Come on.
I like the way my name sounds in that accent, so I'm hoping he's going to say it more often.
Okay. I don't know.
I love that accent.
It's getting a little warm in here, Ava. It's getting a little warm in here. Okay, so
you're embarrassing me. You're making me blush.
Yeah, I don't know about that, honey. Listen, when you get on that stage, I'm sure there's a lot of women going like this, baby. So we want to know a lot about you and your career. I know you're incredible. That's all. We've got 4 songs of yours we're going to be playing. I also would like you to start with telling everyone really, truly who you are, what you do, and let's start there, Stevie.
Sure. My name's Steve Greer. Stevie G is my stage name. I, like you ladies, absolutely love Elvis. Grew up with Elvis. He was my first hero. When I joined the Royal Air Force at 17, I had posters of Elvis on my wall, while other guys had Marilyn Monroe and such like. And I had Elvis. So I had questions asked about me. But I thought, well, I'm staying with the king because he is the king. And he's your guy, he's my guy. And that's where my nucleus of a love of music starts. It started with him and then my now deceased brother who got me into music. But he has always been that default go-to. Elvis is the man and always will be. And there's nobody going to be like him. So I started off doing rock and roll bands at 22, 23 years old. Always covered Elvis songs, every band does. Generally, we evolved from there, went to a 5-piece, a 10-piece, a 2-piece, a duo, a solo. And everything I've ever done has included the works of Elvis. Bought my first costume, made my first costume with my mum. She made it for me. We stitched on the jewels, and then we thought, we've got to buy a proper costume. So we did that as well. And from there, it's just escalated. I mean, as you know, Elvis is timeless. So I carry that character of Elvis, and in good faith, to charity events, to weddings, March of Dimes, for example. Elvis was a big advocate for kids' charities, and that's what I love to do. I give up a certain amount of time every year to do that, and with pleasure to do that for needy children. And I think Elvis would like that sort of thing in his name. But from there, I sing other people's songs as well, as we'll obviously talk about shortly. Influences are Freddie Mercury, Neil Diamond, Roy Orbison, all the great, what I call the great vocalists, true, proper vocalists, and the real bands who have the drummer, the bass player, etc. So that's where my influence comes from. And I started out about an hour south of London on the south coast of England, moved here when I was 40, been here for 17 years now, so you can tell how old I am. And love it. It's great. It gives me the opportunity to do the things that I always wanted to do as a child, sang in the shower with the hairbrush, as everybody does. And now I can actually sing here in America for a living, which is, I never thought I would do. I never thought when I was 20, 30, 40, someone said to me, you'll be in Orlando and New York. I went to New York last year, did some shows. I thought they would be crazy. But I'm truly blessed. You talked about your love of Christianity and the Lord and everything, and I feel that way with my religion. I feel that gospel music is something that is very humbling and something that I introduce in all of my shows. So that, in a nutshell, is me. I do other tributes as well. I do Neil Diamond. I do Roy Orbison. But I also do shows. I do British invasion music shows, which is you would expect from me, I guess. We do the Beatles, we do the Zombies, George Michael, Elton John, Engelbert Humperdinck, etc. And I also do a sock hop show, which is a perfect blend of American sock hop, doo-wop, and songs from Greece. Terrific, just wonderful tunes. And I think that's where my heart lies, is in the music. Is so real. That music from what I call the 50s to the 80s, if you like. I think that is my genre of music, and because I think it's real songs, real singers, and just fantastic sounds.
So, Ava, what would you like to say to Stevie first?
So let me ask you this. So you mentioned some things that were very interesting. So when you do these other shows and you're not totally Elvis, you're doing Beatles and whatever else, do you have other people? Do you have a band? Do you have other people that sing with you, or is it all just a one-man show?
I have a mixture. Mostly it's a one-man show, but I can work with a band or a small band, keyboards and drums, actually. But I also got another act where I'm singing with a beautiful lady co-singer, and we're dancing with showgirls as well. It can be 2 to 4 to 8 showgirls. So it's like a Vegas review show called Lay 4 Live. And it's so it covers all of that kind of music. And it's perfect for theatres and corporate events, that sort of thing. So yeah, we cover everything, and that includes Rat Pack as well. So that it covers the scenario.
I saw you on Facebook. I got to listen to you a little bit, and I actually saw you singing at a bar.
Right.
And you were doing like a rock song, yet you still sounded like Elvis. I didn't know if you were like doing the rock song as Elvis, or you were just singing, just doing your thing. But it was so cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I think because I learned by imitation to sing. I didn't have lessons, and I wouldn't know where to start with that, in all honesty. So, but I learned through imitation. So I guess because he's my influence, then I tend to do songs, or I can do songs. I can do other songs that are Elvis centric, if you like. I'm curious to know which song that would have been, actually, because I do quite a few rock songs, Queen and things like that.
I love Queen. I love Freddie Mercury.
Me too. Me,
I do too.
fantastic.
Jerry, why don't we hear one of his songs, Jerry?
Okay, you know what? Let's do that. Let's hear one of your songs. Producer, let's hear a track, please.
Taxman's taken all my dough and left me in my stately home, lazing on a sunny afternoon. And I can't sell my yacht, taken everything I got. All that's left this sunny afternoon. Save me, save me, save me from this squeeze. I got a big fat mama trying to break me. Oh, I live my life so pleasantly, living this life of luxury, lazing on a sunny afternoon. In the summertime, in the summertime, in the summertime, girlfriends run off with my car, come back to her ma and pa, telling tales of drunkenness and cruelty. I'm just sitting here, sipping at my ice cold beer, lazing on a sunny afternoon. Help me, help me, help me sail away. Give me 2 good reasons why I wanna stay. 'Cause I live my life so pleasantly, live this life of luxury, lazing on a sunny afternoon. In the summertime, in the summertime, in the summertime. Oh, save me, save me, save me from this squeeze. I got a big fat mama trying to break me. Well, I live my life so pleasantly, live this life of luxury, lazing on a sunny afternoon. In the summertime, 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 in the summertime.
That's amazing.
Wow,
Tell us what that song means to you, Stevie.
Well, it's indicative of the place where I come from. You know, I'm a very proud Englishman, you know, and a British guy. And although I live here, yeah, I feel no shame in saying that. I love being an American. I'm dual citizenship, so to have both sides of the Atlantic's music at my disposal, I think is fantastic. And I think Britain and America has produced the best music the world, popular music the world's ever seen. And the Kinks were very much part of that. And I like that tune. It's a very groovy, funky kind of tune. And it's just one that I always include in my British Invasion show as well. People ask the Kinks, and that's one of the big hits from the Kinks. I've got people tuning in or will be tuning in from the UK as well, which is nice. So, and they're all saying, "Yeah, we want to hear you sing, Stevie." And the Brits come over here all the time because it's Florida, of course. They come over and pop in and say hello, come and see one of the shows, and we end up having a good old party.
I went to England years ago with my dad and my daughter. It was amazing. I just loved it. People, I love. Listen, even if you guys are rude, I just smile because the way you sound, it doesn't sound rude. It's cool.
That's what they say. We don't mind being told off by a Brit because it's so politely. And
Yes.
You have a very lovely voice. You have a very lovely voice.
Thank you very much. Thank you. You're very kind.
So
I love singing. I just love singing. I love performing. I like entertaining. I've always liked that. And I genuinely get that buzz seeing people's faces. I do lots of elderly communities, over 55s, assisted living, and just to see the look on their faces as they re-engage with the music of their era, if you like. It just gives me a thrill, it gives me a buzz. I think I don't want to lose that. If I lose that, then I'll do something else.
I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
You know, when you were growing up, I know this is a very hard question. Was there that one song though that was your absolute favorite? I don't care by who. Did you have that one song?
It is a very hard question, isn't it? There's so many. I think Suspicious Minds was up there.
Okay.
Because it was when I first got into Elvis, was when he died. Simply. And they played.
Wait. I have to interrupt you. I don't usually interrupt my guests. Wait, you first got into Elvis when he died?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I missed the part about your age.
He's our age, Gary.
I was 11 years old when he died.
So you're younger than us. So I was 16 when he died.
I was 16 when he died.
I didn't realize that. Now it's making more sense.
Yeah.
I just had okay, that surprised me. I didn't realize that. Okay, continue.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's the first time I saw my mum crying, and I wondered why she was crying, because the news was Elvis has died. My mum loved Elvis, still does love Elvis, and of course the BBC, they were all playing Elvis shows, movie songs, and as the whole world was, So that's when I first got into the sounds. And I think "Suspicious Minds" was one of and "The Wonder of You." Those two songs.
That's one of my favorite songs, "The Wonder of You." I love that song.
The lyrics, he chose well. I know he didn't write many of his songs, but he chose songs really well, and he chose great musicians, and he arranged most of his songs, of course. But those two songs, I think, if you pin me down, I would say "Suspicious Minds" and "The Wonder of You." When I was growing
by
up,
Elvis. Okay.
Yeah,
Wow, amazing.
Yeah.
Ava?
But then in my formative years, when I joined the Royal Air Force, I was 17, and it was really into the 80s sounds then. The Boy George, Duran.
I think that's some of the best music too. I love the 80s music. I was going to say that I think it's so funny how we all know where we were when Elvis died. I mean, I think I'm more of an Elvis fan now than I was when I was that age, yet my whole family loved him. And it's amazing how I could see in my mind right now what I did when I heard it on TV that he died. It's like, that's crazy.
I have to comment. Okay. So, okay, I always say I'm an old soul. I was born too late because growing up as a child, I was an oldies doo-wop and Elvis fan. I was a little kid living in Long Island City, New York, that used to deliver the TV guides to the doors. And I don't even know if I was in school yet, but my mom, we would talk about these stories, and I would remember grabbing it because they always had a picture of Elvis with his name in Elvis. They played his movies all the time. And I would go, "Mommy," and I would look for it. "Mommy, Elvis." Okay. Not only would she let me watch Elvis every time Elvis was on, I would get chills. Things were happening to me. How do you explain that? okay, as a child. It's impossible. It's impossible.
You're right. You're absolutely right. And when I was on summer break at school, we would the BBC again. They would run back to back Elvis films. So I'd be watching Roused About, Blue Hawaii, GI Blues, back to back in the summer. And so the kids were subjected to, if you like, Elvis films, and that's how I thought, well, this guy is so cool. He's so cool, so good looking, and he's such a charismatic man on stage, on film, everything. Just love him. Just love the guy. There's just been nobody like him, and there never will be. Never will be.
Well, so tell us now when you get up on your stage, right?
Yes.
Because, all right, so you do, like you said, you do British Invasion. I mean, you do a lot, which is amazing.
Mhm.
But when you get up to that mic, in the back of your mind, are you still thinking, okay, I got to change. I can't be Elvis right now. I can't be
Yes.
Elvis. You do that, right?
I do. I have to.
You
I have to. But yeah, if I'm singing "Love Me Do" by the Beatles, I have to be in Liverpool. Yeah, I have to be sincere.
It's
to
funny
what
that they they covered a lot of the Elvis songs, the Beatles did, and then Elvis covered Beatles songs. So I mean, that's got to be in your head too, because they
Sure.
exchanged it, you know.
Yeah, and that one meeting that they had, didn't they, at Graceland's, I believe, Graceland, in the middle '60s when the Beatles were in town, and I think they got together at Graceland and jammed together. What a recording that would have been, wouldn't it? I don't think there's any recordings of it. I think it was just a casual invite to Graceland from Elvis to the Beatles. But what a capture that would have been, wouldn't it? What a show!
They were all
Yeah.
in awe of each other. They were all just in awe.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. And even now, I saw a picture today on Facebook of somebody who's in Abbey Road, who saw McCartney coming out of the Abbey Road studios this morning.
Come on, right?
Yeah, it's just some people just have that thing, and the Beatles collectively had it. I think more so than individually, but I think certainly Freddie had it and Queen, but Elvis had that aura, and people are still inspired by him today. I go to some of the schools in the area because my wife's a teacher. So we go to the schools and we do presentations on the racial divide, if you like, in music, within music. And of course, Elvis was subjected to that back in the 50s.
Yes.
And how he overcame that was through music and love. So we do that. I take Elvis to the young kids, and because of Lilo and Stitch largely, and the latest movie, they know Elvis, and they think, what a cool guy. And then they see Kanye West is inspired by Elvis, and Eddie Murphy and Bruno Mars. They think this guy's cool because there's a link to today.
Before we play your next track, my granddaughter will be 8 and said to me in my car the other day, you know what, Mom, I think I'm really starting to like this Elvis guy because of you. I said,
Isn't it great?
I did my job. Yes.
It's terrific. My stepkids are in Europe, actually, at universities, and they've taken Elvis with them. So my stepdaughter Carly, she's over in Switzerland, and she said, I've taken Elvis with me. She said, and I've been playing Elvis, and all the Swiss girls love Elvis.
There you go. So, producer, let's play another track.
Okay.
God on high, hear my prayer in my need. You have always been there. He's young, he's afraid. Let him rest, heaven blessed. Bring him home, bring face like the sun I might have known if God had granted me a son. The summers die one by one, how soon they fly on and on, and I am old and will be gone. Bring him peace, bring him joy. He is young, he is only a boy. You can take, you can give, let him be, let him live. If I die, let me die, let him live. Bring him home, bring him home, bring him
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
I love that show. I've seen that show about 5 times. I love that show. That was a beautiful version.
Thank
Tell
you
us
very
what
much.
that song means to you.
Oh, it's just because I like to do, I like a wide range of music, and I like to try to sing things that are out of my comfort zone, if you like. So, liking that musical, Ava, as you said, I picked that song because I liked the song. I liked Alfie Bowe's version of it, and Alfie Bowe was a phenomenal vocalist. So I changed the key on my version, of course, because I can't replicate it. But it's just a great song. It's perfect for that musical, and it gave me an opportunity to test myself to do something out of the rock and roll field, if you like, and to do something more classical.
I loved it.
For those of you that don't know, that's from Les Miserables, and what a fantastic show that is, and that song just brings it right there.
Yeah, it is. It's a phenomenal song. The show never dates. It just keeps on going. It's the show that keeps on giving, as it were. And love it.
You did a great job. A great job. Do you want to talk to us about Elvis weddings?
Yeah, why not? Absolutely. I do. I bring Elvis to lots of the things that I do, and not just Elvis shows, but I take Elvis to different places, different things. Elvis weddings is one of them. You know, like you go to Vegas and you get married by Elvis. I think I've been to Vegas and I've done a few weddings in Vegas, but I think sometimes they're a little bit impersonal and they're a little bit rushed sometimes. So we thought we're going to bring the best things about Florida and Elvis and package it all in one thing, so people can come over here for a vacation, choose a beautiful beach or a hotel or a ballroom, get married by Elvis, and have an Elvis cocktail hour afterwards, etc. And just have an Elvis themed wedding for longer than just a 20-minute ceremony. So that's what we do. Andy and Amy were tuning in from the UK. They came over. They didn't have Elvis officiate, but he did some songs afterwards. And it's really, really popular. It's really popular because the repertoire for Elvis is great for weddings. There's so many love songs, and it's just a joy to do Elvis weddings here. I couldn't do them in England because the beaches are so windy and cold, and but here, Florida, we just got got the weather for it, so we can do outside things all day long, sunset weddings, and yeah, it's very, very good, very popular.
How long have you been doing them?
Elvis and singing for 30 years, but Elvis weddings specifically for about 7 or 8 years. Since I last was in Vegas, I thought I could do that. I'm going to do that. Why not do that? Because it's not a great hardship to do it. It's fairly straightforward. The government makes it easy for you the state of Florida makes it easy for you to do weddings. So why not? I believe in that philosophy of if you can do something, do it, and if you can't do it, then leave it alone, sort of thing. But yeah, I love it. Absolutely beautiful. And they're just a blast, because if the people like us, all of us here, and many of your listeners, I'm sure, just would love that Elvis or rock and roll themed wedding. I can do it in the black leather suit. I can do it in the
Oh my God.
gold suit, whatever theme they want, whatever era of Elvis music they like best, I will then custom to whatever they want as well.
I like black leather, baby. The black leather.
Black leather, right? I like the black leather, but just not outside in Florida. It's a bit warm.
Just a little, right?
A little bit more.
You do them inside too, or just outside?
Yeah, inside too. I'm hooked up with many wedding venues here. I officiate at the Hard Rock Cafe here in Orlando. I'm their Elvis, if you like. I've got many wedding chapels that I work with and for, Disney hotels, and anywhere that runs weddings. The Orlando Eye, the big wheel in Orlando, we do them on that as well. So yeah, and then
What songs do you sing at the Elvis weddings?
What? Sorry.
What songs do you sing?
I leave it up to the bride and groom, really, but they typically ask for the same songs. I mean, they Can't Help Falling in Love is the go-to song. Love Me Tender is another one. And I try and build in snippets of Elvis songs throughout the ceremony so that it gives them a bit more of a flavour of Elvis. I mean, for example, I'll say something like, look deep into each other's eyes and don't be a devil in disguise. Always live in splendor and never return to sender. But each and every day, promise that you'll say that you'll love each other tender. And then I'll start singing Love Me Tender, which if you would like, ladies, I would love to sing a verse of that for you.
Sing more than a verse. Come on, baby.
Absolutely.
Are you ready, Ava?
I am ready, baby.
Are you ready, Geri? Let's do it. Love me tender, love me sweet, never let me go. You have made my life complete, and I love you so. Love me tender, love me true, all my dreams fulfilled. For my darling, I love you, and I always will. Thank you very much.
Oh,
That's
beautiful.
amazing. I love it. Awesome. Wow. Okay.
Oh,
So-
here we go.
Look at glasses.
I have a silly question, a couple silly questions.
Go ahead.
So,
Never assume.
well, no, these are silly. I like asking silly questions. When you're just, I don't know, grocery shopping, whatever you do,
Yeah.
normal, everyday stuff, I'm sure people come up to you or stare at you and giggle and smile, right?
All the time.
All the time. So what do you do?
Play up to it.
Yeah.
In my local Publix, the supermarket here is, I'm local, so I go in there, and I kind of look like this all the time. I don't wear wigs and things like that. I kind of stay looking the same. And if I've come back from an Elvis event, I'm even more Elvis-y, if you like. So, and I've actually walked into the supermarket in full jumpsuit before, which I think is quite nice, pushing my cart around, like as you do. But people then, if you're in costume, they want to stop and have a picture. Or some people say, you remind me of somebody. And my wife says, oh, not again. So it's great. I'm honored to be linked in any way with the king. So I'm happy for that.
So, Steve, my friend was a tribute artist. I want to give a shout out to the Elvis tribute artists ETAs out there because there are so
Yeah.
many, and I know there's
Yeah.
many of them doing wonderful things. So, my friend was an artist. He passed away several years ago, and I used to help him with his shows and stuff. But he used to do singing telegrams, Elvis grams.
Yeah.
And it was so interesting. So we did a commercial for him, and I actually was the voice of the commercial. And we used to say, anyone can send a telegram, you can send Elvis. And it was so funny because he had the scarves, and he would bring them and he'd sing to someone, and it was so cool. But it was interesting because he had a voice very similar to yours. I mean, I see the connection is why it came up. He also had his own hair and his own look, just like you do. And it's funny because my daughter was sitting on the computer one day, and it's going back like, oh God, 10, 11 years ago, maybe. And her back was facing the TV, and she was facing the front door on the computer. It's pretty much how I am now. And she heard a commercial that Elvis, they used Elvis music in the commercial. And my friend's name was Ted. So my daughter looks up at me, not seeing the TV, and she goes, Mom, Ted got a commercial? And I went, no, honey, that's Elvis. And it was so amazing because you sound just like him. And my friend sounded just like him in certain songs. What do you think is the most song that you sound like him? Do you have an idea? Because I used to think that my friend sounded, really good in certain songs. I mean, he always sounded like Elvis, but there were some songs that were just uncanny.
Yeah, there's some songs that you just feel like it. It just feels right. I love gospel music. I love gospel music. I love singing about how great thou art.
Oh, forget it.
Yeah.
Every time. I mean, and you'll understand, I'm sure, that the communities that we do, generally speaking, are God-loving, Christian-loving, gospel-loving music. And even my Jewish friends, and my family's Jewish, and my family here, and they even love the gospel music as Jewish people, and that's fantastic because it includes everybody, doesn't it? And it just
part of my family's Jewish too, so I can relate.
Yeah, exactly. So my father-in-law is from New York. He's from Brooklyn, and he loves it. He says, "Sing me how great thou art, Stevie." Sorry for New York accent.
I have to share this with you guys, especially you, Stevie. Ava may know this already. My father passed away about 6 years ago from Alzheimer's, and I'm a poet. I write and blah, blah, blah. So the only way I could give him a eulogy was through poetry form. He was an incredible father. Okay, I always say next to Jesus, he was the best. My father accepted the Lord in Israel with me in the tomb many moons ago. It was beautiful. So I wrote a poem, but the end of the poem, I gave the funeral home 2 Elvis songs. So they played the first one. When I get to heaven, my mama will, howdy to my mama, that one,
Yeah.
Okay. But the end, this is how my dad went out. So after everything was said and done, I read my poem, and at the end of the poem, it said, "But when I get to heaven, the party will start. Elvis Presley will be singing How Great Thou Art." And they played it, and that's how my dad went out. So it was beautiful.
Isn't that lovely?
It was beautiful.
I don't know if you told me that story. I know I heard some of it, but
It was
but
beautiful.
that's great.
But gospel,
Yeah.
Elvis is gospel. I mean, the whole world, like you said, they could be Jewish. They could even be atheists. I have atheist friends who love his gospel.
Yeah,
Oh.
absolutely. And you touched upon telegrams, Ava, as well. I do Elvis telegrams, lots of Elvis
Oh,
telegrams.
that's so cool.
I was wondering if you did that because I don't know many people that do that.
But how do you actually do that? You go to the person?
I do. I've got one of these little karaoke mics, if you like. It's good for 20 people, 25 people in a fairly small environment. So I go to weddings, I go to restaurants, houses, and I plug my phone into or Bluetooth to the speaker microphone, and sing songs and turn up in costume, knocking at the door, open the door, in walks Elvis, and we sing a bunch of songs, have a load of pictures, and that's it. It's a very quick thing, but it's terrific fun, and you said about funerals, Geri. It's just I've been asked to sing Elvis songs at funerals, which is lovely, lovely in a sad circumstances, but to sing Amazing Grace or How Great Thou Art at someone's funeral is as you say, is the pinnacle, isn't it? It's the way to go, isn't it? I guess.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So
Right? You want to hear another track?
Sure.
Let's hear another track. All right, producer.
Only the lonely know the way I feel tonight. Only the lonely know that feeling ain't right. There goes my baby. There goes my heart. They're gone forever. They're so far apart. But only the lonely know why I cry. Only the lonely. Only the lonely know the heartaches I've been through. Only the lonely know I cry for you. Maybe tomorrow a new romance. No more sorrow, but that's the chance you gotta take. If you're lonely, heart breaks. Only the lonely.
Listen, I don't ever want that
Sounds
song
great.
to end. That's one of my
Yeah.
favorite songs in the whole wide world. Are you kidding me? Roy Orbison.
That's so
baby.
great.
Yeah,
That's so great. Beautiful
That's
job
good.
with that as well. Beautiful.
Thank you very much. I understand it was written with Elvis in mind, wasn't it?
Yep.
Perhaps I stand corrected, maybe that it was written with Elvis in mind, and then for when he was in the army, I believe. But then it was never chosen, and Roy Orbison recorded it himself. That's just a beautiful song. I mean, I love Roy Orbison. He was the antithesis of Elvis, I think, in his performance. Literally stood still with a guitar in his hand, didn't move. Whereas Elvis was everything. Freddie Mercury was everything. But what a voice! What a voice Roy Orbison had, and died too young. Again, one of these guys that just died way too young. Was coming back with Traveling Wilburys and lost way too soon. Way too soon.
Yeah.
Ava, I'll be back in a minute. Take over.
Okay. Okie dokie. So I was asking you before, what song do you think epitomizes your Elvis voice? Is there a particular song that you think, oh my God, that's it?
I was trying to avoid that, actually.
Well, you got to sound more like him in some songs than in others, don't you think? I mean, I think you sounded great in the songs that we're hearing of other artists. Yet I'm thinking, 'cause my friend Ted, he would sing Mesa Blues, and that song, he sounded so much like Elvis that I kept telling him that song, I mean, you just sound just like him. And so he would dedicate that song to me. Every show we went to, he would play that song and say, this is for Ava. And it's just a great song. But do you have a song that's maybe your favorite that you think you sound a lot like Elvis?
I kind of like singing Are you lonesome tonight? Will you miss me tonight? Are you sorry we drifted apart? I like to get some vibrato going on that. Well, I didn't do it there, but I like that song, and I like Mesa Blues as well.
Yeah, that sounds great.
I suppose Kentucky Rain. I like Kentucky Rain.
I like that song too. That's great.
Just so many. I mean, there's so many songs out there. 700 plus. I think it's
Yeah.
But it was.
So do you try to incorporate some of those favorites of yours into your shows?
Yeah, I think so. I always try and bring some humor into the show as well, because it's me obviously doing Elvis in the show. But I think I'm mindful. I'm never ever disrespectful to Elvis. Never would be. And some people ask if you can do silly things as Elvis, and I said no, I'm not doing that. But yeah, absolutely. You bring your own personality to try and replicate what he would do in a respectful way, I think. And I think that's where we're at. And I like to finish with American Trilogy if we can, or The Wonder of You, because they're very powerful, emotional. So If I Can Dream as well, that's another massive song for me.
Yeah, one of my favorites too. Yeah.
Yeah,
I love The Wonder of You. There was something on Facebook, Jerry, I think, we're asking if what song on the radio would you turn the volume up? And I immediately said The Wonder of You. As soon as you hear that beginning part, I'm always turning it up.
Well, whenever I'm asked, what's your favorite Elvis song, I laugh. And I'm like, I don't have a favorite Elvis song. I have categories. So I have, and that's the truth. All of Elvis's songs are in categories.
Yeah.
It's impossible.
And I go through phases. I sometimes go through, like right now, I'm in the 1976, 77 phase because I'm really liking those last two albums. I'm just learning a couple of those tunes from that. The Last Farewell, Love Coming Down. Fantastic songs. They're sorrowful songs in many ways. I mean, where his life was probably at that point. But his voice was fantastic. Even his last concert, his voice was fantastic.
Right. I just posted his last concert, actually.
Yeah, I saw that. The Unchained. Well, yeah, the last time he sang live, and that show, I think it was Indianapolis, wasn't it? Where he sang "How Great Thou Art" was absolutely phenomenal.
I have a question for you, Stevie. Wait, before I forget.
Yeah.
Do you ever sing the song "Such a Night"?
I do.
You are the only ETA that has said that to me. They're all afraid to sing it. I had to make a bunch of them really learn it and sing it because they said no one can do what Elvis does with that song.
No, it's the same with Surrender. Surrender is a great song, but he hits such a beautiful note at the very end. I don't know how he can get that note, and I don't know many ETAs that can replicate that note at the very end of Surrender.
Well, I like the way Elvis breathes heavy at the end of Such a Night.
Mm-hmm. I don't do it very often, but it is one of the ones that I get requested for weddings, I have to say.
Okay. You must know this, but they mentioned it on, I listen to the Elvis radio station in my car, and I know you do too, Jerry. They talk about how he went to someone to get that end note in Surrender, and they told him to think of like wrenching, and that's how he was able to get that note, but that's what they taught him to do. Yeah. So, interesting.
Why don't we play our final track?
Sure.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay, producer, hit us with our last track.
Did I play all four?
No, you played three.
Three? Oh,
yeah.
I'm sorry. I must be missing one. I'm sorry. Hold on.
Yep. I heard you when you did the sound check. I heard 4.
Oh, okay. Hold on.
Yep. So I know you have it there. And then, Stevie, I want you to let everyone know all your information, how to get in touch with you, the whole bit.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, I skipped the track. I'm sorry.
Okay, there you go, sweetie. No worries.
Okay.
Thank you.
God on high, hear my prayer in my need. You have always been there. He is young. He's afraid. Let him rest. Heaven blessed. Bring him home. Bring him home. Bring him home. He's like the sun I might have known if God had granted me a son. The summers die one by one. How soon they fly on and on. And I am old and will be gone. Bring him peace, bring him joy. He is young, he is only a boy. You can take, you can give, let him be, let him live. If I die, let me die, let him live. Bring him home. Bring him home. Bring him
We talked about Les
Okay.
Mis, yeah.
So,
But
so
it was always
this
worth
one
good
should
hearing
be
again.
Ruben.
Oh,
It was beautiful to
no.
hear it twice. We're fine. But I think the next one is "Can't Help Falling in Love." Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, Ruben, find
That's
that one,
the one we
sweetie.
didn't have.
Yep. It was
One-
great
one
hearing
was-
you twice.
Yeah,
Sure.
oh yeah,
Oh,
it's just beautiful. Just
I could
beautiful.
hear you singing these songs all day.
Yeah,
I was
amazing.
talking to a mutual friend of ours, Jerry, Billy Pascali,
Oh yes.
and we were. I did a show with him recently, actually. Not a super guy, and he's back on the road. He's getting Steam back together, and they're doing shows again, which is great. So he said to say hello to you as a
Tell
mutual
him I
friend.
said hello. Yes.
What a terrific guy! He's got some part of the true fabric of American music. You know, and we look back at the catalogue of the bands that he's played with.
okay. I
The
have
Vanilla Rascals, great.
One
American
second,
song.
Ruben. And Kathy Kasu is watching. She says hello as well. She's
Oh,
on
hey,
the
Kathy.
connection. She's all our friends. All right, Ruben, hit us up, baby.
Wise men say only fools rush in, but I can't help Some things are meant to be. Take my hand, take my whole life too, for I can't help falling in love with you. Like a river flows surely to the sea, darling, so it goes. Some things you know are meant to be. Take my hand, take my whole life too, for I can't help falling in love with you, for I can't help falling in love with you.
Are you kidding me?
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate that very much.
And
Oh
Steve,
my-
you're in the Orlando area, right?
Yes.
Does he know
Yes.
John, Jerry?
I'm
Does he know
sorry.
John? Does he know John Monforto?
Yeah. I played with John. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's our buddy.
Yeah, he's our
Yeah.
buddy. Yep, yep.
We did a show last year together. Fantastic. Great guy.
Yeah. Awesome. Like, that's such a great area. I love that area of Florida.
It's good and it's vibrant. It's got a lot of opportunities for many things, live shows, telegrams, corporate work. You know, it's a haven really for performers. To be honest,
Amazing.
it's been very good to me. So
I want to
That's
share
amazing.
a silly Elvis story with you, and then we'll have you tell us everything you need to tell us.
Okay.
So many years ago, not many, maybe 7 or 8 years ago now, whatever it's been, I flew a friend of mine from Australia to New Jersey. He spent a month here, and he's family to us, and he's got a disability, and he limps. One leg is shorter than the other, and his arm is kind of, and I'm telling you all this for a reason. It makes the story so much more funnier. And his arm is kind of like this when he walks, right? And we call him Limpy. That he nicknamed himself that. And
Right.
he's a degenerate poker player, as I am. So we played in each other's leagues here in Australia, so we're all like family. He's an Elvis fan, and he was never out of Australia. So
Right.
me and my brother got him here, and we go to Memphis. So now we're on the Lisa Marie plane, and
Wow.
you've been on there, I'm assuming, right?
I have. Yeah.
Okay. The very
have to.
last room on the plane is Elvis's bedroom. I went there so many times, but years ago it was different with what they did. So anyway, here's the Elvis's bedroom on the Lisa Marie plane, and it's covered in plastic, the bed, and there's a note, and it says, "Do not touch." So I give this fool my camera, and I go, "Now listen carefully. I've waited my entire life to lay on this man's bed. I'm laying on, and you're taking the picture. But mate, we'll get arrested." I said, "Imagine those headlines. Jersey girl gets arrested for laying on Elvis's bed. Let's do it." I said, I jump on the bed, and the alarms go off.
Oh
No.
Because and listen, they did it as a prank because they knew every gay man and female is going to want to lay on that bed. Okay,
Of
so
course.
he drops my camera and runs off the plane. So I don't have that photo, but I have the photo of the bed with the note. To this day, we laugh about that story. Okay, so he ruined my chance. At least I got to lay on Elvis's bed.
Did they come and grab you in handcuffs or what?
No, I was hoping, man. I was like, please, officer friendly, arrest me. I laid on Elvis's bed, man.
Isn't that great? Isn't that great? I was so pleased they got to keep the planes because there was talk that the planes were going to go from Graceland actually a couple of years ago, but they've now secured them again. So it's great. Great for everybody to see the planes.
Yes.
Really
So,
good.
I recently interviewed Priscilla Presley's son, Navarone. I was supposed to meet Priscilla, but then COVID happened. I've interviewed his nurse, Marion. I got interviewed by George Klein at Graceland. So I had a lot of cool connections and a lot of heartache as well with what's gone on with the family,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So everybody, you know, keep that family in prayer, please, because we all need prayer, but they need it right now the most.
Yeah, and absolutely agree. Absolutely agree.
You know?
It's funny. Yeah, you're absolutely right. A little funny story just before we go as well. I was in England about 5 years ago, in bed, midnight plus. I'm thinking, I've got to go to sleep now. My phone rings, and it's someone said, "Oh, this is Good Morning America" on the phone here. And we wanted to we want to hire you to do a wedding in at Walt Disney World. And I thought it was somebody playing a prank on me. I thought, okay, whatever, yeah, whatever. Are you available on whatever day? We're doing a mock royal wedding. And I was convinced it was a joke. And it really wasn't. It turned out to be the greatest thing I've actually ever done, because it was Good Morning America, and they wanted me to officiate a mock royal wedding for ABC at the castle with a lucky couple that had won the right to get married at Disney. And to think I nearly put the phone down and thought it was a scam call, but it wasn't.
Right.
It was, so today, I think I'm the only person that's officiated a wedding live on television at the Magic Kingdom Castle. So I'm proud of that.
Are you kidding? You're not going to wait. We're going to talk a little more about it. No. Okay. So,
Right.
okay. So first of all, I guess the time difference, that's why they didn't know they would be calling you at midnight. Because I was like, why would they have called? Okay. Now, how did you realize that it was them? And how'd they get your number?
Because at the time, it came up, I think the New York code is 505 or 515.
516?
516, yeah.
Right, it was a 5 something, and I thought, well, that's a New York code. So I went off screen and I was punching in New York codes, and I punched in the number, and it said then production office at ABC. I thought, wow, great, this is real. So he said, the guy said, can you send me a video of you officiating a wedding in a British outfit? Sort of like tomorrow morning. I'm at my mum's house, who's not equipped for that kind of thing. You know, I didn't have anything, so I set up this emergency studio at my mum's house and filmed on my phone. And he said, "Faye, that's great," and I got a job, which was wonderful, which is really, really cool. And to this day, yeah, it's a great memory for me. If I don't do anything else, it's been a great memory to do that, because it was live, and it was a big production.
OMG, okay.
I
That's
know.
all I gotta say.
That's
the
great.
picture-
That's a great story.
I was lucky because I thought, well, why didn't they just choose one of their regular officiants and say speak with a British accent or something? I was fortunate.
Right.
I was
Why
fortunate.
why wouldn't they want you with a British accent? Come on.
Right. Yeah.
Amazing.
Well, I guess so.
Amazing. So
Yeah.
before we forget, give everyone your information, anything else you want to tell them about what's happening. I don't want you to forget.
Okay. Well, essentially, you'll see my banner here. OrlandoElvis.com tells you everything you need to know, and it gives you a spin-off website, which is Steve Greer Weddings, specifically for weddings. Tells you all you need to know about my weddings that I do: theme weddings, Greece weddings. I've got a Sandy that I sing with. We do Greece shows.
Oh,
British invasion weddings, whatever you'd like, 80s weddings, Elvis weddings, anything that's a theme wedding. That's where you'll find all the things, the telegrams, the shows that I'm doing. I publish where I'm doing public shows, not private shows, but public shows, theatre shows, that sort of thing. They all go on there. So that's where you can find out about me, where I came from, what I'm doing, and hopefully the new things. And my new show, which is Late for Live, which is with the showgirl, Elvis and the Showgirls. Absolute sea of colour and fantastic dancers for a group of girls in Tampa, which I've schooled with for many years, the Las Vegas Showgirls of Tampa. They are fantastic. And that tells you everything. Yeah. So look me up, Orlando Elvis.
I just pulled it up. It's such a beautiful website. You guys got to go there. OrlandoElvis.com.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And it's,
So-
give me a call. If you want to get married, give me a call.
there you go.
Some people may take that the wrong way.
So Ava, I want to thank you first of all for helping me out today.
You're
Sure,
welcome.
anytime for you, Jerry.
So this was great. Ava, tell everyone about you real quick.
Oh geez, I wouldn't even know where to start now. I have a music and theater background. I went to Penn State, went to the American Academy of Dramatic Arts, and also worked in the hospitality industry in the casinos here in Atlantic City, and did some hospitality when I was younger too, not knowing that it was all going to lead me to running into a hospitality business. But I do event planning, special events. We work with indie authors, things like that. Yet not doing a lot of that. I'm just recovering from cancer surgery, so I'm still a little bit in recovery, and thank God I'm cancer free. So now I'm starting to pick some things back up again, and we're moving and shaking. You know, I do the radio shows with Geri and a couple of different networks, and you know, Geri, like I say, you're like a sister from another mister. So there's so many things we have in common. But yeah, that's a little about me. And now I'm in this cooking competition, and I made the first round of cuts. So I thought that would be great for the bed and breakfast industry. So so just learning a little bit from there. So
And you
yeah.
also do radio shows.
Yep, I just mentioned that. Yep, that I do the radio shows. I have another show here that's coming, and I'm actually interviewing you, Geri Petito, on July 9th, right, Ruben? You have us in there, right? And we're going to talk about your trip to the borders.
We do.
So that's going to be a really interesting interview. But you know, I love music, I love theater, I love all kinds of stuff in the industry, and I think it's all stepping stones to what we do on a daily basis. So I'm going to be moving all of my stuff into a bed and breakfast where we'll host our own events. I have dueling pianos planned, and we're going to have to get Stevie to come out and do some performing. We'll do an Elvis day or something. I know Geri's coming out to cook, so so we'll have a good old time. So that's all brewing. Everything's percolating right now, and you know, I'm just letting God move me forward where I need to be.
So, Stevie,
Yeah.
what would you say to everyone listening? Give them some words of encouragement.
Good question as well. It's I think it's simple. It's just don't give up. It's just don't give up, because there's so many obstacles in the way of dreams and goals that it's easier to turn back and say, oh, I can't be bothered anymore. You know, for me, like getting my citizenship was one big one, and just being actually accepted originally into the entertainment field here, because I suppose because if you're an outsider, and I mean that politely, you know,
that's everywhere. Mm-hmm.
It is, isn't it? Yeah, it is, and so it's just bashing and bashing down the barriers of that, and letting people trust you, know you, hear you, trust you. So don't give up. Don't give up. Dreams are really, really important, and it doesn't matter what age you achieve your dreams. I think I've achieved mine in that I'm doing what I always wanted to do for a living, and I can't ask more than that, really. You know, it's never give up. Never give up. That's my advice.
Well, I wasn't going to read a poem because of my throat, but I want to read a little bit of this one poem. I'm going to do the best I can, guys, okay? Because what Stevie just said, this is what my poem's about. It's called Utilizing Gifts and Talents, okay? We are born with talents. We are born with drive, with different gifts to help us thrive. I knew early on I was born to draw and paint, to also write poetry, and to talk without restraint. Our gifts and talents should all be used. God's gift to us, not be abused. See, we can go far in life for sure, using our gifts to go on tour. All our talents should be used to create ourselves and more, but then our job's to share them, to even up the score. You see, in life, what's needed is not just for ourselves. Once our gifts are mastered, take them off the shelves. A living we can make by spreading them around, not just for the money, to spread a peaceful sound. So don't take for granted the gifts you're given. Go out and spread the joy. Our gifts are not to be held back for us to self-destroy. Put your efforts forth. Do not hesitate. All your talents, my friend, are never second rate. Never hold them back or you will surely die. Maybe not in body, but your soul will cry. Be proud of who you are. Be happy you're alive. Once again, my friend, your gifts will help you thrive. By putting efforts forth, not keeping them at bay, Stevie Greer, your name will live forever, baby, forever and a day. So go through life excited for what you sure can give. To yourself and others is our reason to live. Our grave will be quite lonely, but our legacy lives on. So make sure people smile with the breaking dawn. And that's what you do for everyone, Stevie. You make everybody smile. Everybody.
Yeah, thank you. Well read. Thank you, because I know it's difficult. Thank you. Such a lovely poem. And somebody that once said that to me is that if you're given it, I've never been one to appreciate the talent, because I'm pretty humble, and I mean that. But some said you have to share what you've got, and you just touched upon that. Share what you've got, and that's another piece of advice, isn't it? And as long as you can do something, you have a responsibility to share it. If you have a gift, we all have gifts, we all have talents, but share that talent and that gift that you've been given from him, her, whatever above. Share it and enjoy it. Absolutely. For as long as you can.
So I say to a lot of artists, I always ask them, when you hear yourself, how great do you think you sound? And it's very hard for people to say they think they're great. And I am so upset about that, because I always say this to everyone. If we can look at someone else and say how great they are, whether they're a singer or an artist or an author, right, or a poet, whatever it is, why can't we look at ourselves and say the same thing? It's God's gift to us. And when we don't honor ourselves and our talents that God gave us as much as we honor others, that's not okay with God. So always look at yourself, Stevie, and say, yes, I am great. And that's not being conceited. That's saying thank you to God for giving me this incredible gift.
Thank you. Yeah. And the perfect example of that is when I was singing in a memory care unit once. And I did lots of these and I loved doing them. And the lady hadn't spoken or uttered any words for a long, long time. And I was kneeling to her, because I always believe in that kneeling at the same level. And I held her hand and I was singing Love Me Tender. And she was singing with me, and her daughter was crying her eyes out, said, my mum hasn't spoken in months. And she's been singing with you for that song, she said. And it blew me away. I mean, I thought this is exactly why I do it, because even at my level, if I can spread some kind of happiness, long may it go on. Bring it on. Absolutely.
Well, musicians, let's give all musicians a little tribute here, because my dad, when he had Alzheimer's, he couldn't know anyone or remember anything, but if I played an Italian song, he could sing to it. And right. I always say little babies, they could be 6, 8 months old and they're in a bouncy. You play music, what do? They bounce. So it's innate in us. And I want to thank all the musicians out there who helped get everyone through COVID, who were on lockdown. Stevie, I did a live at someone's show, and this woman was in the hospital and messaged me and said, Geri, thank you. I'm in the hospital. I had the nurse prop my phone up so I could see this. Thank you. So all the musicians out there, I just want to say thank you, because that's what we need. We were born needing music, guys. So, Stevie, I want to thank you for honoring me with this incredible interview.
Thank you. It was a pleasure to meet you. Pleasure. Thank you, Geri. And thank you, Stevie.
Beautiful.
Absolutely. My point of view, it's a fantastic honor. Thank you for inviting me. I know we were going to do it last year, but I had other commitments. But I'm so pleased that you stuck to your word and you invited me again. And you're a trooper. You shouldn't be here at this show. You should be recovering.
Normally I'm in the studio, but today I said I better do it from home. But listen, we could get you booked for next year as well, God willing, and I'll be in the studio. So, but listen, you're awesome. Thank you. And thank you to Kathy Kasu for the introduction. We love you too, Kathy. So,
hi, Kathy.
Love you guys. And again, Ava, thank you so much.
Oh, and you're welcome. Thank you.
Share this. Ruben, take us out, baby.
Ladies and gentlemen, Geri Petito.
I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. And in time, this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Geri Petito taught the class. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Love's the answer, the greener grass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. One day at a time, free at last.
when you don't know just what to do.
Just what to do, just what to do.
If what you're feeling is really true,
Is really true, is it really true?
just keep your ideas safe and sound.
Safe and sound, safe and sound.
That's exactly how change is found.
Change is found, change is found. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. And in time this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Geri Petito taught the class. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Love's the answer, the greener grass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. One day at a time, free at last.